Hey, good evening, guys. It's KB5MIQ Big Boy. We got a little subject we're going to talk about tonight. I got something off social media. Come here, Ham Radio Cat. Everybody hadn't seen you in a couple of videos. All right. Whoa, girl. Come up here. Say hi to everybody. Everybody asks about you. She probably didn't jump down. Guys, I've talked to y'all in the past several different times about how to purchase used gear. So I saw this especially for new hams. This guy put this in friendly amateur radio Elmers. Just looking at eBay pricing on some HF transceivers, and remember that the frequencies in most countries are different than we have here in the US of A. They may overlap, but I'm not sure they are the same. Adding this info due to the fact, even though the rigs may be 100% operational and really great rigs, they're not what you want to use in the USA or whatever country you live in. Oh, there we go. And if you pay top dollar, you should be able to use the radio on all the frequencies you're licensed for. I'm not bad mouthing anybody on their selling or marketing their radios. The sellers, most I believe, preface their info on their. Well, here's another another cat with radios with Japan frequencies. Their frequencies cannot be modified due for the fact they're programmed for their country, no other. I'm not knocking these sellers, just confirm what country radio was programmed in prior to buying it. And he's right. And I know somebody, and I can't remember who it is now, that bought a dual band VHF UHF that they couldn't modify, that they couldn't get it when it was a Japan radio. And before you think, a lot of people think, well, we could just Mars mod it and all of that. Camera don't look straight. Those radios are built for that market. They can't even be Mars modded. So here's my problem with eBay. Now, I was bought stuff off eBay 20 years ago when it first got going. I don't buy off eBay now. I can't tell you the last time I bought off eBay. I am not knocking eBay. I know a lot of guys that do. But I see this on radios now. Parts only, no return due to part swappers. All right. And that's about every radio you'll see listed, especially if it's an estate seller. Now, you may have some hams that sell radios on eBay from time to time. I think Cody got a good deal off of a ham on eBay several years ago at $8.91. But you got to watch that. If you buy it, it's yours, basically. Sort of like buying a computer for a car from a parts house or any electrical part. Most of them won't give you money back if you try it out. So that's something to think about. And those radios can't be Mars modded. I know Kenwood, European brand was called Trio. So even those countries have some different frequencies and power requirements. So you buy those radios, they can't be Mars modded to open the band up or anything like that. So be aware of that. If you find a radio you think you want, email the seller, read his stats as a seller, and ask pertinent questions and make sure it's not a Japan radio. And a lot of sellers are selling radios from Japan, and they'll say they're from Japan, so you can bet money that's a Japan banded radio. That's something to think about. There's other avenues to buy gear on now. You've got MTC for one. Sometimes his price is maybe a little more than what you'd pay at a ham fest, but if he's giving you a 30-day warranty on it, and it clearly states on each description anything he sells, whether it's got a 30-day warranty or not, you're not going to get a 30-day warranty at a tailgate sale or used seller at a ham fest. But a lot of ham fest tailgate sales I've been to have a test table where you can test a radio. All I'm saying, not telling you not to buy on eBay, be very aware of these Japan sellers. And there's something else that probably a lot of people don't think about. And you probably not going to have that problem with Japan, but if you buy something from, say, Europe that has a built-in power supply, so you buy one of these old Kenwood 940s with a built-in power supply, that was made in Europe, made for Europe, more than likely the power supply is going to be wired for 220 single phase 50 hertz electricity. The U.S. electricity that we have in this country and Central and South America and a lot of other countries is what's called 240 single phase 60 hertz. Hertz means your alternating current, how many times it alternates in 60 seconds. European electricity, especially in the Caribbean, is 220 single leg to ground 50 hertz. Here how you can tell the difference in those two services, and I'm going to give you my example because I've had experience in them in the military. You look at your drop to your house in the U.S. From that transformer, that cable running to your house feeding it is going to have a bare cable, which will be attached to your house and with an isolator called the messenger cable. That is also your neutral. You'll have two insulated wires wrapped around it. Each one of those wires is 120 volts to ground, 240 total. So if you hook up a electric, you put a double pole breaker, that's how you get 240. European electricity is one leg of 220 volts to ground. And if you look at a service in a European or country or Caribbean, you'll see that same messenger cable running from the transformer with one insulated wire wrapped around it is 220 to ground, one leg. And before anybody tells me, I know some of you are thinking, well, big boy, you can go in any airport shop and buy a voltage adapter. Yeah, you can. You sure can. But that ain't good for running a radio on or anything like that. It's for you to have something to travel with, maybe run a razor or charge a phone, something simple. Let me give you a good example of this, and I've seen this firsthand. 1995, I was a member of a Red Horse Squadron, which is Civil Engineering, U.S. Air Force Reserve. We had a TDY trip to the island of St. Vincent doing a foreign aid mission. All right. The Advon team went down a week early, which is your admin staff, the office dweebs that's setting up business type stuff. Friday night, before I'm flying out on Saturday, I'm sitting in a bar drinking a beer in Bossier City, Louisiana, a hotel bar where I was staying there for Barksdale. One of the full-time guys walks in. He says, "Hey, Greg, you the electrician going down the bar?" "Yep, sure am." He says, "I'm going to make you a hero right now." I said, "What the guys? They got a problem down there, and they're too stupid to figure it out." "What is it?" He said, "Well, their copy machine won't work in the office, and they're having a fit. They hadn't had a copy machine all week." I said, "Well, it ain't going to work." He said, "Yeah, you're right." I said, "That's 50 hertz electricity. They could put a voltage drop changer on it all day long, but those motors, micro motors and timers and whatever gadgets and magical mystery items run a copy machine ain't going to work on 50 hertz." He said, "They're right." I said, "Don't they know there's a generator in the Connex and extension cord?" He said, "They're too stupid to figure that out. So I'm going to make you a hero. Fix that as soon as you get there." He said, "There's no frequency changer." I said, "I knew that. I know way you can change the frequency. We'll talk about that more in just a minute." So I get the C-130, fly down there. Sure enough, the senior NCO in charge of the tour met us at the ramp door. "Who's my electrician?" "I am, Sergeant." "Greg, fix my copy machine. That's your first priority. Let me know what material you need. We'll go downtown and get it." Said, "Give your bag to one of your buddies there. He'll put it in your billeting room for you." And "Okay, I need the key to the Connex." "Okay, now let me know what you need." "I got it." Well, they're all busy. They're not paying any attention to me. I go to the Connex. I roll out a 3K Honda generator, get me a 100-foot extension cord, a 12-gauge extension cord, a can of gas. I roll through the front of this building area. None of these buildings are air conditioned, so the windows are all up. Second story office upstairs. I roll the generator around behind the building, and they're kind of in a corner, so I tuck it around the wall to kind of keep the noise down. I walk upstairs. I walk through the office. Nobody pays attention to me because they're busy. And you know, if you're an electrician or comm or whatever, unless something's absolutely wrong, you're invisible to everybody else. I go to the window, chunk the cord out the window, keep the female in, tie it off to the desk, walk back down there, crank the generator, plug it in, go back upstairs, plug the copy machine in, call one of the office dweebs over, to check your copy machine. Oh my God, Greg has fixed the copy machine. I got a major attaboy. And I had enough sense to accept it and not tell them they were too stupid to have not done this themselves all week. But that's a perfect example of how 50 hertz electricity doesn't work very well on items made for 60 hertz electricity. And I don't know for a fact on European radios, I see more Japan radios for sale, but one of the guys did mention that there has been European radios and equipment sold on eBay targeted to hams. So that's something you need to think about. Now, I'm sure somebody's going to come up with a cheap frequency changer. I looked at some today. I didn't find any. I wasn't sure it even worked. And the ones I found on Amazon were over $1,000 a piece. So, guys, you're going to buy gear, especially an HF rig. I ain't telling you where to buy it, but if you buy something that's coming from overseas, you really need to do your research, because it's more likely going to be sold as is due to these parts swappers that these guys keep claiming about. Another good way to look on eBay and tell if the guy selling it's actually a ham, or if it's one of these estate sellers that's gone out and bought everything in a dead person's house and they're just selling this crap. I see more Heathkit rigs sold without the power supply. Jeff and I talked about this. Why would anybody try to sell a Heathkit tube radio knowing that that radio has to have that specific power supply to operate? You can't hook them up to a 12-volt Astron. They got to have that specific power supply because of different voltages the tubes require. That's a perfect sign it's an estate seller. To me, that's what I'd try to stay away from. And again, I'm not telling any of you how to spend your money. There's some things to think about before you spend your money. It's real easy to go to these ham fests and see all kinds of gear and get caught up in it. Talk to people. If you've done any trading at all or buying off individuals, you can talk to somebody, and usually within 2 or 3 minutes, you'll figure out if the guy's legit or he's blowing smoke up your butt. Pretty much. And that's in anything. I'm not as good at buying used radio gear as I am buying used guns, but still I talk to people. And when you're dealing with eBay nowadays, you stand a real good chance of losing some money and buying something that A, won't work in the bands, or B, won't even work on our power here in this country. Another thing just come to mind, my ag teacher, I graduated high school in 77. I had the same ag teacher for 4 years, World War II vet, was a gunner on B-17 bombers. I never did know if his roommate died on a mission or just got sent home, but he said his roommate had gotten a hold of a British amateur radio set over there and left it. And then he said, I wanted to bring it back, but I knew it wouldn't work because of their electricity. Just something to think about when you're buying used gear off eBay. That's all I'm trying to do, is give you something to think about before you try to buy used gear off of eBay. Well, guys, that's about all I can think of tonight. Remember, Broke Circuit Ranch, Circle 6 mail drop. Both those links will be in the description of the video. I'll try to put a door planter back in there if any of y'all need any of the stickers or stuff she sells. Really, really nice young lady that's fixed me up on stickers and my little hologram light thingy over there. MRG Labs, Dan Major's working on lots of stuff all the time out there. He posted on Farmersville page things he's working on. So I highly recommend him. If you need any amp or radio repair, contact Dan. His contact info will be the first slide after this video. ARRL, like it or not, guys, we need to support it, especially new guys. Try it out for a year. Again, you old hams, if you don't like the ARRL, just don't dissuade a new guy from trying it out, because until y'all come up with something else, they're what we got for lobbying. Guys, I was going to get Glenn Gerard's picture this week, but he got sick. So hopefully I can get over there Monday if he's feeling better, and we'll go shoot a shack video with him and Ronnie Hull, and I'll have a picture of him getting his 2,000 sub prize. One of my listeners, Melvin Altis, and KO1TIX, I believe. I didn't look his call sign up before I got on here. I appreciate Melvin. He is sending me some stuff for these school clubs, and I'll get it all up there, and hopefully I'll have some video, at least some pictures of that. Guys, I appreciate all y'all listening to me and old Ham Radio Cat and whatever other cat jumps up here at the time. This is KB5 MIQ Big Boy 73. Now, shoot, hang on a minute. I forgot to set this again. I don't know why I get used to this. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.